So, shut your mouth, close your lips, and say something. That's a quote from a Zen master. And he would give it to his students, and they were supposed to go off to a hut for 20 years and fast and consider this short saying and figure out and come back to the master and tell him what it meant. Now, you can see that I don't fast enough, and I haven't been in the wilderness for 20 years, but one thought I've had about that is, do you remember what Rosa Parks said? Her act of refusing to be humiliated by that bus driver and move to the back of the bus to stay seated and get arrested reverberated around the world. It was a powerful, she said something very powerful with her lips closed. And I think we need to understand that dynamic. Now, fast forward 50 years, and we have a 17-year-old skinny boy walking back from having bought iced tea and Skittles. That was his crime. And this was in a gated community. And a man with a gun felt threatened, that was his defense, and shot Trayvon. Now, Trayvon wasn't protesting, he was walking home from the store. But that act and the acquittal of George Zimmerman also reverberated around the world. There have been demonstrations all over this country, and foreign countries have looked at this. So what are those two events? One which was a protest of sitting down and not moving, and one which was an innocent walk home. What do they have in common? I think they were examples of injustice, inequality against African Americans. I think the outpouring of outrage in the last few days is a hopeful sign. People don't like injustice. They don't like bullying. They don't like inequalities in life, life chances, in dignity, in respect. So the challenge for us is to not let this outpouring fizzle the way other outpourings of concern and sympathy have fizzled in the past. We need to build a strong, united movement to change, for change based on the unity we've experienced in the last few days. Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement talked about the beloved community. The beloved community. They weren't simply walking for a seat in the front of the bus or for the right to vote. They had a much larger goal of creating a beloved community. What do you think would make up a beloved community? What would be a community for the young people here to thrive, for all young people to thrive, for old people to thrive? What would be some of the ingredients in that pie of the beloved community?
Tolerance.
Tolerance.
Kindness.
What?
Kindness.
Kindness. Food. Food. What? Compassion.
Shelter.
Shelter.
Economic equality.
Economic equality. Education. Education with teachers who believe in each of their students and want to see them reach their goals. What else? Medical care, says the nurse. For all, everybody needs medical care. Research shows that inequality leads to acts of violence. So one of the ways to reduce the amount of violence in our society, which is very disturbing, is to create a beloved community. I would add, we need to think outside our species. We need to love this beautiful planet that's getting attacked every day. So those are some of the goals that we need to unite around, yeah? Because our planet is defenseless without us. As Pablo Casals, the famous Spanish cellist, said, "Love of country is a beautiful thing. Why does it have to stop at the border?" And he was talking about the border of a nation. What about all the other borders? The borders of race and of poverty and class and sex. All those borders that keep us from loving across those borders. When I think about a gated community, the message is that the love stops at the gate. We're protecting ourselves from everybody outside our community. We've got to bust down those gates. We've got to love beyond the borders. As Ali said, we've got to love beyond the borders. We need to keep our eyes on the prize, the beloved community, and not let fear and stupid ways of dividing us from that goal. The Southern Civil Rights Movement involved a lot of pain, a lot of beatings, a lot of jailings, a lot of killings. But the people that overcame their fear and took part experienced this incredible rush of energy and joy. And I think we shouldn't keep ourselves from that rush. So what I say to you is, shut your mouth, close your lips, and say something. Thank you all for coming.